As of today, I've successfully been a father for 15 days. And when I say success, I basically just mean that I have a happy and healthy son who I haven't let drop on the floor or die yet. But in that time, I've learned two things. One, I know there is a lot more to learn and I have a lot to figure out still about being a father and about having a family like this. And number two, I've spent a lot of money on my son and my family so far. If you Google the question, how much does it cost to have a baby, you're gonna get a wide range of answers. Everything from $10,000 for the delivery, all the way up to something like $1 million over the first 18 years of the baby's life. Now, I don't know what the next 18 years are gonna hold for us, but I do know what the pregnancy held for us and the first 15 days of my baby's life and the delivery. So what I wanna do is I wanna share a little bit about the numbers that I've spent. These aren't gonna be the same for everybody. These are gonna be drastically different based on your delivery experience, your pregnancy experience, and your preferences as a parent. But I feel like it's really useful to have data points that you can use to make informed decisions about the future and about how you're spending your money and how this baby's gonna fit into your life. So a lot of people are just gonna want a number. So the number that we spent between baby, mom, pregnancy, and delivery was $124,025.40. But that's not the whole story. Let me explain. So my definition for this costing exercise is to really figure out what are the incremental costs of the decision that we had to have a baby. So everything from going to doctor's visits, talking about the child, to taking care of stuff during the pregnancy due to pregnancy related things, all the way to all the things that we've bought to make our lives easier while we have a kid that we wouldn't have bought otherwise. It's also really important to note that whenever we talk about healthcare costs, those aren't actually real costs, right? Those numbers are basically meaningless at this point in the US according to our healthcare system, because the hospital says this is how much it cost, the insurance company says no it didn't, this is how much we're willing to pay, and then they do a negotiation and it's all made up, right? None of that has anything to do with how much we actually paid or how much the doctors get paid or the cost that exists in the system. So as I take a peek at the $60,000 of costs related to pregnancy and the $60,000 of costs related to the delivery, we didn't pay that, right? I'm sure we've hit our out-of-pocket maximum for this. We're still waiting to hear back from a couple of our bills, but we did not actually pay that. And my sincere hope is that nobody else has to pay that either. Healthcare in the US is a big, complicated mess. But my hope is that a lot of people out there, if you're considering having kids, you're gonna go get some insurance that's gonna take care of this. We use a high deductible plan, which was just fine for us. We ended up hitting our out-of-pocket maximum, we ended up hitting our deductible, so we should be okay. Hey beautiful baby boo. Our little nugget cost us $124,000. Would you do it again?
Holy crap. Well, yeah, wow.
Overall, our pregnancy went pretty well. Steph had a bunch of symptoms, it was a pretty rough time for her, but we didn't have to go to the doctor too many times. We had to go to about 12 different visits for the newborn. That includes ultrasounds, that includes OB/GYN visits, checkups, those sorts of things. And then we had one visit to a cardiologist. If we look at the delivery that we had a vaginal birth with epidural, and again, not really any unexpected complications. There was a little bit of tearing, so there was a bunch of stitches, but we had a normal hospital delivery, at least what's considered normal in the US. Since the baby's come home, things have been going really well. We had high levels of bilirubin, so we had to go back and get him checked a couple times. But aside from that, our baby has been really, really healthy and a delight to have at home. So now let's break down that third category a little bit, because I think the things that we choose to spend on our baby is a really interesting subset, right? Because you don't actually have that much choice over your medical bills. We did a little bit of shopping at the beginning to try to say, okay, what hospital do we want to have our baby in? Where do we want to go? But there wasn't a lot of choices, right? Because you typically are going to choose the hospital that's closest to your home, the one that's most convenient for you. For us, the second closest hospital adds an extra 20, 30, 45 minutes drive time in rush hour, and so that basically just wasn't an option for us. Now, when we look at the costs that we've incurred as part of actually having our baby at home, that includes things like diapers, wipes, strollers, and things like that. And so there's a lot of different things that come into play here, and there's a lot of choice that we have as parents, because we could have gotten everything secondhand, we could have bought everything bargain shopped, we could have spent a lot more time, but in general we tried to optimize for our time and our energy levels, right? We were having a baby, we didn't have a ton of time to go and shop, and so we said, okay, it's better for us to focus on the baby and on our health and on work, and then just kind of spend a little bit more for some of these things. So you'll see that some of the costs that we have are a little bit higher than you would need to pay for. So if you look, for example, at our stroller, we ended up giving an UPPA stroller. And so this is actually one of the more expensive brands. I think we've been very happy with our choice in terms of the quality of the piece of equipment and the number of accessories. We actually even, we gave up using our Graco Pack and Play for putting the baby to sleep. And we started using the bassinet that came with the UPPA stroller because the child likes it better. Daniel sleeps better, sleeps happier in that UPPA bassinet. And so I think overall we're very happy with our choices, but we understand these choices probably aren't relevant for everybody. So overall in the first 15 days of his life, and including all of this money that we spent prior to that, if you look at the breakdown of that, the vast majority of that has gone to some of the big ticket items like the stroller, like the bassinet, those sorts of things, where we feel like these are critical, essential parts of raising a child. Beyond that, we have a lot of little expenses, things like wipes and diapers. But if you look at the actual cost of these things, the way I look at this is that there's a subset of the things that you buy that you could not reuse, right? These are disposable, these are one time. If we have another child, we can't reuse any of these, but the non-reusable parts are only around $700. And so the idea is that we've invested in a nice crib, we've invested in chairs, we've invested in pillows for breastfeeding to try and make our lives easier. And all of those things can be reused when we have a second kid, a third kid, and so on. So I could not end this video without talking about the support that we've gotten. Whether it was the form of gifts from the baby shower, to friends and family checking in on us, to Steph's mother coming and living with us literally for months. We could not have had this baby without all of that support. So a huge thank you to everyone in our lives that has been a part of this baby, and we're looking forward to continuing to share our adventure. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks.